What's up, people? I am back for another video. Today, I am reviewing Maniac Cop. This is I watched it a couple of weeks ago. I was supposed to review it weeks ago. I just didn't get around to it. But I didn't know Bruce Campbell was in it. He's also in the sequel, and apparently there's a third one, which apparently is really shit. But I guess I'll go through them all. There's only 3 movies. So the first one's actually pretty good. I actually like the concept. It's basically Matt Cordell. The concept is he is wrongfully basically put in jail for supposed police brutality, put into Sing Sing, which basically is all houses all the people he basically arrested, and they basically one night kill him. You find this out later in the movie, but I'll just say it here. And then because he's not actually dead, he comes back for revenge and starts committing killings posing as a cop. I mean, I love the opening scene. You have this woman, getting mugged, and then she runs away from the muggers, and they're chasing her, and she runs into because she sees a cop. That's all she sees, and it's understandable. Oh, officer, and then bam, she just gets killed. And then more murders start happening. The one that was pretty brutal was when he kills the guy who chases him, and he shoves his face into liquid concrete. And then it, concretes later. And yeah, and we find out the story later, and Tom Atkins is in as Detective McCrae. Only criticism I really have is how he dies. I don't really have a problem with him dying. I just don't think he should have died. I mean, I guess it was kind of close to the final act, but he should have been in the final act. Because the movie treats him as pretty much the main... Him and Jack, played by Bruce Campbell, I actually thought was really good in this movie. Who basically is framed for the murders, because one of the victims is his wife, who suspects him of cheating / also being the killer, finds him cheating with Detective Mallory, and then she ends up getting killed right after. So he's seen as the murderer. And so my thing is, not just because I like Tom Atkins as an actor, and I just think he's such a good lead. It's just he shouldn't have died the way he did. I mean, it's not necessarily how he died. It's more when he died. Maybe he should have died towards the end, but I think it's still a good film. Solid kills, simple slasher, simple kind of premise. I've seen the second one recently. I don't really remember it. I remember it being okay. So I know Bruce Campbell comes back in the second one, and the third one, looked into it, has Robert Davi. He is a good actor, so maybe he can make it good. So, but out of 10, I'd probably give it a 7 or an 8. It's a simple slasher, good kills. It's basically if Michael Myers was a cop. I think I like how believable some of the kills are. I like some of the hysteria it causes. The movie actually tried to tell a story. It wasn't just people die and that's it. They actually try to tell a story. So, and I mean, it got 3 movies. So, yeah. Tomorrow I will be reviewing Conjuring 3. I've heard that this one isn't as good, but it's still it's decent. It's kind of like Insidious, the most recent one, where it's not bad. It's good. It's just not as good as the other 2. So we'll see if this one is in the same boat as kind of that, which is I'm okay with. It's still a good movie. It's just not as good as well, in this case, the first Conjuring is pretty good, and I love Conjuring 2. So we'll see how 3 does it. And then next week we'll be doing The Nun. So, yeah. And then Friday we'll be getting back into the X-Men movies. I originally was gonna wait till November to do it, but fuck it. My Fridays are free right now, so fuck it. I'll just do that. So I think what I'll do with the X-Men movies is I'll even do the side ones like Origins and stuff. I'll just do them all together in release order. So the next one would be X-Men Origins Wolverine. And a lot of people hate this movie. I don't mind parts of it. I think they fuck up with Barakapool, but I do think, and some of the CGI looks horrendous. Like, it looks awful. But I do think Hugh Jackman was still pretty good. I think Lee Schreiber as Sabretooth was great. I like how much they explored. That's kind of what I wanted from the movies, or like X2 and stuff. So at least this movie kind of did that. Like I said, it's not great. I think Taylor Kitsch as Gambit was fine. I just kind of wish he looked more like the character and not have like the long hair, whatever. But so I'll review that on Friday. But anyway, let's get into Maniac Cop. Well, anyway, it got me. But anyway, the movie opens up with, like I said, this scene, and I actually liked this. It was a nice way to set the tone for the movie. You have this woman, just walking down the street. These two guys try to mug her. She fights them off. And then she gets chased. Runs into like a playground. And then she sees a cop and tries to flag him down. He stops her, and you think it's his cop, and then he grabs her and kills her. And the two guys watch her. Next morning, they're arrested, and Richard Roundtree's in it. And R.I.P. Richard Roundtree died yesterday. I thought he for the little role he has in this movie, it's kind of like your typical police chief. I thought he was pretty good in this. So, McCrae. This is where we're introduced to McCrae, played by Tom Atkins, who I thought was really fucking great in this. He's good at everything that he's in. I like him in this. So, I just wish he didn't die. And I'll get more into that when we get to his death scene. And he's looking into the murders, and Jack, who is having an affair on his wife, has like a scene with her, and she wants him to stay home, and because there's a woman who's basically filling it and shit in her head, which we later find out is Sally, who's kind of been working with Matt. Has been kind of convincing her it was Jack who's been doing the murders, because another murder happens where a couple's killed, and then like a businessman gets killed, and that's where we get that concrete kill where he like shoves his face in concrete, and then they have to dig him out, which is pretty brutal. So they try to pin the murders on Jack. This is why someone's filling his wife's head that he's the murderer. So because he's like out all night, she's trying to convince him to stay home. So though I like the way it sets it up, that makes it almost like, she's cheating on her, and that's why you think that's why. Which, speaking of cheating, she finds him cheating on her with Mallory, who's a fellow detective. And then the next scene, you see her get grabbed by Matt and killed. You don't see her get killed. You just find out because the maid finds her body in the motel room. And then one of the cops basically arrests Jack for the murder. And they're trying to basically pin the murders on Jack. But McCrae doesn't think he did it. He thinks... so he tries to find out what happened. Detective Mallory, who's, posing as prostitute, gets attacked. And this is where he helps her. And then this is where we look more into... Because he notices that... at this point, they don't know who the cop is. It's just this murderous cop. I do like that scene where they're watching, they're at the bar, and they're watching on the TV. They see people basically talking like how they don't trust cops anymore, and they even hint that some innocent cops are being killed because they don't know who this murderous cop is. And I do think that makes for a good story, and I'm happy it was made when it was made. Because I hate to say it, if it was made now, oh my god, it would be a lecture. That's the thing. Thankfully, it was made in the 80s. where it's essentially, yeah, it's just if Michael Myers was a cop. That's how I look at it, kind of, because he's silent, he doesn't talk, and kind of kills people in ways that I'm like, okay, I can see Michael Myers doing this. So Matt attacks Mallory, and is rescued by McRae, and he shoots at Matt, but notices he's not dying. He's being unfazed by the bullets, and then this is where Mallory reveals. Oh, Jack initially revealed because McRae goes to Jack because McRae suspects that Jack's obviously hiding something and protecting somebody. So he questions him, and this is where Jack reveals that it's Mallory, who he's been having an affair with. And then, yeah, this is where he finds her, and then they go to the bar and then talk about what happened. And this is where we meet Sally, who's like this weird lady with a cane, who gives him the information. And this is where we first hear the name Matt. And then they look into it, and this is where we get the reveal of the story. You kind of get a little like montage of what happened, wrongfully arrested, and basically unjustly prosecuted. It goes to basically a prison that has all his people he arrested with no protection. One night, while taking a shower, gets ambushed, tries to fight some of them off, and it was a kind of a cool little fight scene. But yeah, he ends up getting killed. But we get the reveal from the mayor that he fudged it, and that Matt wasn't actually dead. Because this is at this point McRae's figuring out that that he suspects now that the cop is actually Matt, who's come back. Who actually, he didn't die. We get the reveal that he didn't die. He was just brain dead. So kind of like Michael in Halloween 4, and then just woke up one day and decided to take revenge by killing some of the town. Mallory ends up getting arrested. So does Jack, and while on the transfer, Matt takes over, kills a couple of the cops. We get kind of like a big chase scene in the... Oh, before that, sorry, I skipped a section. Matt attacks the police station, kills a couple cops there, including Sally and Detective McRae. I don't like how this was done. I felt like he should have died towards the end of the movie. I just think, like, because the movie makes it seem like he's the main character. Like, to be honest with you, we follow him a lot. Like, yeah, there's scenes that we eventually do cut to Jack, and like when Matt attacks the police station, you do follow Jack and Mallory, but it's like it does feel more like McRae's movie. Like a lot of the before that, you're following really him. I would have rather. So I just didn't like how that's done. I just think it's a little janky to just him get yeeted out of a window and he's just dead now. It's like, okay, maybe you should have just had him get stabbed like heroically, because granted, yeah, he tries to fight Matt, but obviously he's gonna get his ass whooped. So I guess it makes sense in a physical sense, but it's just, I don't know. It's a minor negative. It doesn't like kill the movie for me. So Jack and Mallory manage to escape, but it looks like Jack's the one who committed the killings. Yeah, he ends up getting arrested along with Mallory, and while they're getting transported, Matt kills two cops, takes over the car. We get a final face-off, basically, between Matt and Jack. Jack causes a crash, basically, or not a crash, causes an explosion that essentially explodes Matt and the police, like, SWAT van. So, seemingly Matt's dead, like, you just see his arm. Granted, I did watch the extended cut, because it wasn't on, I think it's on Peacock, but I just watched, I watched it on Peacock, but I found out that there was a deleted scene. Apparently there's like an extended cut that you see the mayor get killed. You see like the mayor kind of try to hide it and say, oh, it was someone, try to make it seem like it wasn't actually Matt who came back. So because of that, then he ends up getting killed by Matt. You don't see it, you hear, like, you just see Matt walk towards the mayor, and then you hear him scream. So basically, yeah. So, which that's a cool little ending. It's a pretty dark ending. So basically, kind of sets up, because I know there is a two. So, I like this movie. It's a decent little horror movie. Um, this was the '80s. This came out like '87 or '88. I'll look. I might be getting my years wrong. I know it's no, actually no. I think it's '90 somethings. I think it's no. I think it's '92. Now that I'm remembering, because it was like around when, because I looked it up. So I think it was around like when it was like Bruce Campbell just did, like, I think Army of Darkness. So this was either '92 or '91. So one of those. I'll look it up and I'll put it on the title. So, but so it was still in that time though when carry over from the '80s slasher era. Actually, no, I think the second one is '90. I think the first one's like '88. Now I'm remembering, because I was thinking of the second one. Because the first one was like '88, so a little bit like a year after Evil Dead 2. But yeah, so you still have the '80s. So they're like, this is like, oh, killer this, and Earl, granted, it was '81, but My Bloody Valentine, oh, killer minor, killer this. So they're like, okay, killer cop, makes sense. And the premise still worked, and I like that they tried to do something and it didn't just. Granted, I'm okay with my cheap slasher movies when they, I love Friday the 13th, so yeah, I'm okay with slashers like that from time to time, but I do like that this one did try out a little bit of a story. Had actually some pretty good cast too. I mean, Richard Roundtree, even though he's not in the movie a lot. Tom Atkins, Bruce Campbell, who he definitely I think he's the main character in the second one. Yeah, he comes back in the second one. He's definitely the main, because in this one I almost look at him as a co-lead, because arguably, like, Tom Atkins was the character up until he dies. He's the character you're kind of following the whole time. So, but overall, solid slasher. So I give it an 8. It knows what it is. Some decent kills, good concept. So, Maniac Cop 2. If I watched it, I don't think I did though. Because I remember I was gonna review it, and I just did the first one. So we're gonna watch 2 next week, and then I think there's a 3. So anyway, so I'll be doing that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be doing Conjuring 3, and then we'll be moving on to the Nun movies. But other than that, I definitely recommend Maniac Cop, especially if you love Bruce Campbell and Tom Atkins. It's a solid little slasher. Why not? So, and it's not long. You have some decent kills. They actually have some solid atmosphere. I think it's in New York, so New York setting kind of works for this kind of movie. So, anyway,